Well, more than 20,000 National Guard troops are in Washington, D.C. as of right now to help secure the inauguration. The Pentagon is now confirming that the FBI is vetting all service members working the event, but they deny earlier reports of a possible insider attack. Joining us now to talk more about security measures is J.J. Green, national security correspondent at WTOP News there in D.C. J.J., thanks again for being with us. Always appreciate having you on. It really was kind of one of those alerts you get on your phone and on your work email when you see that the Associated Press is reporting a possible inside attack and National Guard being vetted. It was chilling to read that. What have we learned since that initial alert, and what should we make of all of this going into Wednesday?
Yeah, hey, Rob, thank you for having me again. It's always a pleasure to be with you. What we've learned is that this is serious. And the fact that authorities are going through this process suggests that something tipped them off. Reading a piece not too long ago, just a few minutes ago, from the Washington Post suggests that the U.S. intelligence community had sent a bulletin out today. I think maybe it started last night, suggesting that QAnon had thought or talked, mused about, perhaps on social media, figuring out a way to try to impersonate National Guard troops to infiltrate the inauguration. And so that's what set off this need to vet all of these people. And I think a part of the reason why this is so concerning is because they now know, authorities now know, that QAnon, the people that subscribe to what they think about and talk about, is a pretty broad cross-section of people. So that meant that there was a distinct possibility that there could be some people in the National Guard community that subscribe to QAnon and may indeed be willing to do that. So what it involved is a very, very big situation where they had to vet all of these people and do it thoroughly and quickly.
And JJ, I'm going over the list of things in my head, not just this National Guard information here where they're being vetted, but now we know there were members of the military in that crowd. We know that Capitol Police are being looked at in terms of their involvement. There's an investigation as to whether congressmen and women helped the rioters out. I'm trying to get my head around this idea that the threat may have come somewhat from within, and what we do with that when the very people whose jobs are to protect and defend the country are the ones storming, or part of the ones storming our Capitol. Help me reconcile that.
It's hard to do that, Rob, because I too, like most folks, around the country that are looking at this, have a hard time figuring out how that works, because you do indeed have former and some current members of law enforcement and the military amongst this group. I'll put it to you this way. One source that I was talking to last week said to me, this is basically just like terrorists being radicalized overseas, international terrorists that essentially bought into the Al-Qaeda or the ISIS ideology. Well, while this is certainly much different from those ideologies, but the process is the same, the indoctrination, the constant reinforcement of this idea, and the process through which these people go through, I guess, induction into this community. And then, of course, there are those who really have situations in their lives that may intersect, regardless of what their station in life is, whether it's a representative or whether it's a member of the military, whether it's a grocery store clerk or a county commissioner in some state. A lot of people identify with this, and it all, according to this source, goes back to a lot of people being radicalized by an idea that in this case is completely false.
Chilling. The good news is there was no activity this weekend, violent activity as feared, so that's certainly good. But there was this new video that emerged from the New Yorker, a more inside look at the protest. Have you had a chance to see it, and what was your top line reaction to that new footage?
Yeah, I have seen it, and it was brutal. A friend of mine who is in the journalism business as well made an observation to me on Friday, and he said that his parents, and he's an African American like me, he said his parents, like us, He said his parents moved from South Carolina to Washington many years ago. And the reason they moved was to avoid what could very well have erupted at some point in their life in a very segregated South, a lynch mob. And he said this scene at the Capitol reminded him very much of what they were running to escape. Remember the calls to hang Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence. And then the fact that people had all sorts of weapons, including ropes. There was, I think, a noose at some point that appeared, sledgehammers, hockey sticks, all sorts of weapons, and of just an incensed, infuriated mob, essentially overrunning police. This is the kind of thing that ran through my mind, exactly what my friend said. That was a mob of people that were looking to lynch people, to harm people, and that is a very, very dangerous thing to happen in the U.S. Capitol.
True believers, as one of the Capitol officers described.
Frankly. It's a very dangerous thing to happen anywhere, but in the U.S. Capitol, least of all places.
I know we'll be talking certainly more this week, JJ. Thanks for giving us some time tonight, and fingers crossed for a peaceful week for sure. But in the meantime, thank you, man. Appreciate it as always.
Yes, Rob. Thank you very much. Good to be with you.